All right, guys, what's going on? See, sorry for the terrible green screen background. It looked much better during my gameplay stream of Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. But Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. I just got to listen to playback real quick just to make sure. As always, the audio's fine. All right. Sorry about that. Anyway, guys, Happy New Year. Welcome to the World Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Crater, and we are coming off of the final Monday Night Raw of 2018, the final WWE show in general of 2018. But before we get to any of that, as always, just a quick shilling and just stuff is updating stuff on my channel. If you're a fan of wrestling, which I'm assuming you are if you're watching this World Wrestling Podcast, my 205 Live Universe mode is currently being exported on my computer as we speak. So if this stream is kind of laggy, that's the reason why, because I'm currently exporting 205 Live. It's first 205 Live 2K19. It's currently at 86% as of me talking right now, so it should be done eventually by the time this podcast. So we're going to try to do this podcast till at least 12 o'clock. So I can say, hey, this podcast went to the new year, right? Kind of cliche. But yeah. So more than likely 205 Live will be coming out tomorrow, and we'll just go from there. I have a lot more free time this week, so it's probably, so in terms of scheduling, you could definitely expect 205 Live, and if I work fast enough, you should definitely expect this week in Universe mode as well this week, and maybe Raw by end of the week if I'm fast enough in making these videos. I'm gonna try to balance out Universe mode and live streaming this week. Happy New Year, Craig. Oh yeah, thanks, Grim the Vampire Dragon King. Really appreciate that. Happy New Year to you as well. It was an interesting. Actually, I want to hear from the chat. Anybody, what was your favorite? Not just wrestling related, but like, what was your favorite thing from 2018? Just let me know in the comments, and we could just go over that eventually. Yeah, just let me know in the comments. What was your favorite moment of 2018? It has nothing to do with wrestling. It's nothing to do with Yu-Gi-Oh! Or anything. Just what was your favorite personal moment? If you want to share with us, what was your favorite personal moment of 2018? And we'll just go from there. Again, I'm probably gonna be trying to bullshit my way through this until what's called 12 o'clock hits. So this ain't Yu-Gi-Oh! Where's Yu-Gi-Oh? My not so interesting life. Yu-Gi-Oh! I was actually about to make that announcement. I recorded a show with my friend's best moment. Yeah, I enjoyed doing that as well. And hopefully we continue that show in 2019. We will continue that show in 2019. I know things are kind of falling off near the end with us filming, but we will probably be done. We will get this filming resumed in 2019 with our live action show. But anyway, what was I about to say? Lost train of thought. Oh, in terms of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Stream, you can, I think I'm going to, since I have much more free time, I'm probably going to do that Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, if not Wednesday, Thursday? Definitely Thursday. You know, we're probably going to do it Thursday, because I'm thinking I'm going to do the World Wrestling Podcast tomorrow, Wednesday. So it'll make more sense to do the Yu-Gi-Oh! Stream Thursday. So that's probably what I want to do. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy Duel Stream that was supposed to happen this past Sunday is going to be on Thursday. I'm going to re-put it back up on my channel. So there's that. We could deal with that. Any other updates in terms of my channel? Well, besides that, if you look at the leaderboards, we have Ralph Knight, who's a resubscriber. I am that true immortal. Sav, subscriber. Yu-Gi-Oh! Moto Yummy. My Not So Interesting Life. All new subscribers, even though My Not So Interesting Life was already a subscriber. He just decided to resub so you get this special effect, which I'm about to show you guys. So, if you guys either subscribe, sponsor, donate, or super chat me today, you'll get any of these 4 notifications for subscribers. If it pops up on the screen. There you go. I just saw it. Creator just subscribed. You get a sponsor one, the donation one, if it works. It works when it wants to work. And a super chat. Now, super chat is the only one that will not pop up on the screen for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just how Streamlabs work. And the donation ticker, again, Black Hair Game with $2.19 as the top donation and the newest donation. So, besides that, I think all there's left to do is just talk about Monday Night Raw. The final Raw of 2019, we started off with a steel cage match with Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler versus Drew McIntyre. You see how much I'm out of it. It was steel cage match. They was hyping this up for a week. Pretty much the end of the rivalry. I mean, it was a good cage match. I missed like the first 10 minutes of it because me and my brother listened to a podcast. But yeah, so pretty much this is pretty much the match that they just wanted to get Drew McIntyre over. They were using Dolph Ziggler, and yeah, Drew McIntyre obliterated Dolph Ziggler. Then after the match, he claymored him like 3 more times after Ziggler kept calling him back. But basically at the end of the match, he said he's going to win the Royal Rumble, and now that he's done with Dolph Ziggler, he's gonna move on to the Royal Rumble and win the Universal Championship. And that's pretty much it. I'm assuming this was a way to write off Dolph Ziggler, because the way this was shot, I would have to assume Dolph Ziggler would not be for him to sell this, to sell what Drew McIntyre did. He's probably not gonna be here for a couple weeks. So that's just my assumption of what they're doing. So there's that for Dolph Ziggler. Then you had backstage Shane McMahon and Triple H arriving together. Again, Shane McMahon is hilarious doing his dancing, and Triple H just looking at him like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Then Seth Rollins came out. Rollins said that the CrossFit Jesus doesn't do New Year's resolutions. Rollins wants his IC title rematch right here and right now. Instead of Dean Ambrose coming out, Rollins is joined in the ring by WCOO Triple H. Triple H says Rollins has an opportunity at a fresh start. Nothing's being handed to him anymore. There's no automatic rematch clauses from here on out. The match Rollins won is not going to happen. So basically, the Intercontinental Championship match that Seth Rollins won is not going to happen, because apparently, for this new era thing that they're doing, no more automatic rematch clause, which is, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. So if I'm a champion right now, I hope I wouldn't lose my title, because I'm not going to get a rematch. It's not a guarantee that you're not going to get a rematch, because that's the point. It's like, for example, when Asuka won the title, Becky Lynch is clearly not getting a rematch for that. So, yeah. Triple H says that he has to be honest with Rollins. Triple H says sure Rollins deserves a rematch anyway. Triple H tried to give him a speech about believing in Rollins. Rollins tells Triple H to cut the crap. Triple H tells Rollins that Rollins made Triple H a believer. He wants basically that killer instinct Seth Rollins that they had back in the day, like in 2015. Rollins says he'll burn everybody down. He'll go through Bobby Lashley. Then he's going to go through Dean Ambrose. He'll go through Lesnar and the whole McMahon family if he has to. Shane McMahon then came out and said there's going to be a fresh start battle royal, and the winner of that match will be going on later tonight to face the Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental title. And obviously Seth Rollins is not in that match, because later on in the show he instead fought Bobby Lashley. We had the fresh start battle royal, which included the following: Baron Corbin, Zack Ryder, Apollo Crews, Kurt Hawkins, and a bunch of other people. I know Finn Balor is in it. I know No Way Jose was in it, and again a bunch of other people. Basically, those are the main people I just named. After most of the mid cards are eliminated, Baron Corbin, Zack Ryder, Apollo Crews, and Kurt Hawkins are the final 4. Who would have thought? Corbin back body drops Ryder over the top rope. Hawkins jumped on Corbin. Corbin sends Hawkins out to the apron. Hawkins almost pulls Corbin out of the ring. Corbin overpowers Hawkins and sends him out through the floor for the elimination. Crews lands 2 enziguri to send Corbin tumbling to the outside for the win. So later on in the night, it's going to be the Intercontinental Championship match between Dean Ambrose and Apollo Crews. Backstage, you had Nia Jax and Tamina attacking Natalya, which led to the tag team match in the main event, which was the Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey taking on Nia Jax and Tamina, with obviously Natalya being her partner. However, still back in the ring, we had Baron Corbin, who got eliminated. Corbin complains about it not being fair that he didn't win the Battle Royal. Corbin said he deserves an award for the work that he did as GM. Elias interrupts him, tells Corbin he's a loser, and Elias doesn't invite losers to his parties. Elias tells Corbin to leave. Elias sings a song about Corbin needing him to go away from ruining Monday Night Raw. Corbin and Elias fight on the ramp. Corbin sends Elias into the crowd. Elias crushes Corbin between a barricade and a road case. So basically, obviously, the next feud is going to be Elias and Baron Corbin, which, I mean, they kind of hinted at that a couple months ago. But, yeah. they did kind of hint at it like a couple months ago. My moment, Grim Vampire King, you said in the chat. My moment is my friends and my cosplay girls, Comic-Con 2018. That's bull. Rollins is definitely winning the Rumble now. Yeah, Marco. I don't think he has to win the Royal Rumble. I think what's going to happen is he's probably going to win Elimination Chamber. I think a SmackDown superstar is going to win. Who? I don't know. I don't know who's competing for the WWE title. How this WrestleMania is going. I have no idea. No rematch at all. B team. Yeah, I think the B team was a part of it. Oh yeah, the B team was a part of that battle royal. All I remember is that Finn Balor was in it. I don't know why he was in it. He's with the rest of the jobbers, but whatever. It is what it is, I guess. What happened next? Then you had the Riot Squad versus Ember Moon, Sasha, Bayley. I'm not gonna lie, I did not pay attention to this match at all. All I know is that Ember Moon, Sasha, and Bayley won. Nothing against them at all. I just, for some reason, was not paying attention to this. Then you had Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley with Leo Rush. I came in halfway back into this matchup where I don't know if he got provoked or not, but Rollins clothesline rushes him to the barricade. Oh, I know. So Seth Rollins intentionally got a chair, and then he just attacked Lashley and Leo Rush. I thought like Bobby Lashley provoked him or something, but I guess not. Maybe I could be wrong because I came in halfway through this match. When I first originally read this result, when they taped it on Friday, I thought it was a heel turn for Seth Rollins, but now after visually seeing it, it wasn't just a heel turn. It was just with more context with that AAA segment. It just makes a lot more sense of what actually happened. So, yeah. So there you go, Seth Rollins. I think he's, as far as I know, he didn't announce himself in the Royal Rumble. I'm assuming that's going to happen eventually, because we are how many weeks away from the Royal Rumble? If I'm not mistaken, like 3 or 4 weeks away. So, who knows what's happening in this Royal Rumble at all? I have no idea what's going on with anything in this Royal Rumble or this WrestleMania, this road to WrestleMania this year. Like, I just legit have no freaking idea. It's all up in the air. Like, the only confirmed matches really seems like it's gonna be Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, but even that is kind of up in the air. The only reason why I think that's gonna happen is because if they were gonna do Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar, they wouldn't be doing it at the Royal Rumble. See what I mean? So it's like, it would just make the most sense. Yeah. What you call it, Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins been called out Brock Lesnar this whole time. Ever since Roman Reigns obviously had leukemia, it just seems like Seth Rollins is the focus. So that just seems like that's the direction they are going at the moment. What else happened on this show? Yeah, you had Jinder Mahal and the Singh Brothers v. Heath Slater and Rhino 3-on-2 handicap match. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Will this mark the first time that the Singh Brothers actually wrestled on Monday Night Raw? I could be completely wrong, but I know they wrestled on SmackDown in a one-off match against AJ Styles. But wouldn't this mark like the very first time that the Singh Brothers wrestled on Monday Night Raw? I have no idea. Then you had the Intercontinental Championship match between Dean Ambrose and Apollo Crews. I mean, I think the whole point of this was just to make Apollo Crews look good, if I had to take a wild guess, because like Dean Ambrose was selling a lot for Apollo Crews. He didn't get any offense until the very end. We hit the Dirty D's, and that was it. I think the whole point of this was just to get Apollo Crews over, I guess. I freaking guess. And then you had our main event, which was the Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey and Talia Tina taking on Nia Jax and Tamina. It was a okay main event. I mean, there is no clear direction what Ronda Rousey's doing at the Royal Rumble. All we know is that Besides Natalia naming herself an entrant, next week Alexa Bliss, who is still injured, clearly is still injured because they are, despite her being injured, they are like doing whatever they can to still keep her on TV. So with that, they're doing a Moment of Bliss with Alexa Bliss. She's the first woman in WWE to have her very own talk show, and her first guest is going to be the Raw Women's Champion, Ronda Rousey. So, that being said, I don't know who could Ronda Rousey possibly face for the Raw Women's title at the Royal Rumble, because she already did Natalia, the only other woman. I'm looking at this roster. They so there's 4 weeks left. Okay, yeah, thank you for telling me, Grim. So there's 4 weeks left to the Royal Rumble, right? So what can they possibly do? Who knows? Asuka, based on the results I read on SmackDown, there's clear they're gonna have something by next week, by the first SmackDown. Well, not the first SmackDown 2019. The second SmackDown 2019. We're going to have an answer with Asuka, but for Ronda Rousey. Actually, let's look at the... Oh, about to drop my mic. I apologize, guys. Let's look at the Raw roster real quick. That's what we're going to do. We are going to look at this Raw roster real quick and where it's going to go from there. And figure it out. Alright, let's look at this Raw Women's roster. You have Alexa Bliss, Alicia Fox, Bayley. I guess the Bella Twins are still considered part of the Raw roster, I guess. Dana Brooke, Ember Moon, Liz Morgan, Mickey James, Nia Jax, Nikki Bella, Ronda Rousey, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, Sasha Banks, Stephanie McMahon, Tamina. So with this Raw roster, unless Alexa Bliss has actually cleared to wrestle and this is just a start of it, they could completely be psyching us out. Alexa Bliss attacks her, and it's like, there you go. Alexa Bliss is fine now. She's going to be facing. Alexa Bliss seems like the only other person that they can use for Ronda Rousey as like a bridge to her going to WrestleMania. The only other person there's only 2 other people that she can fight at the pay-per-view I think will be pay-per-view worthy, which will be Mickie James or Ruby Riott. She already did Nia Jax, so... Mickie James? Maybe? Or Ruby Riott? I don't know what else. The only other explanation I can think of, unless they're using like Lacey Evans or Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross would be one, because they obviously... I do feel like, because the way they're pushing... Oh, never mind then. It can't be Ruby Riott, because I just realized Ruby Riott announced herself in the Royal Rumble match, so never mind. It can't be Ember. Okay, so clearly there's the only person that can really be is freaking the hell is her name? Mickie James. Unless Alexa Bliss is perfectly fine. This is just a segue of her being perfectly fine. I don't know who else Ronda Rousey is facing at the Rumble. She might not be facing anybody at all. Sometimes that happens. But because last year, none of the women's championships were on the line because they had to use all the women for the Royal Rumble. But I think they have a lot more women to utilize now if they're going to still be using NXT women. So I think, I could be wrong. I do truly think that both women's championships will be on the line this year, so we will definitely see what's going on there. Ronda Rousey's a mystery. I legit have no idea. You had her. Someone new in the chat. I tuned it once at the end of Raw. Saw Nia Ronda, immediately turned it off. Yeah, that was the main event. Do you need a women's WWE? Do we need? Oh, okay. That's an interesting question you asked, Grim. Yeah, let's discuss that real second. You asked about the women's tag team championship. I actually had a special podcast related to the women's tag team titles in general, but I guess I can share my thoughts. We currently have a half an hour. I'm gonna try to hold this. Okay, yeah, we're getting some questions here. All right, we can do this then. So the answer, Herberto, I'm gonna answer your question. The second, I'm gonna answer Grimm's question right now. No, we don't need women's tag team titles because there's two reasons why we don't need women's tag team titles. One, there's not enough women to justify it, and two, if they do it, it could. So since I did it, let me give my full explanation of why I think the women's tag team titles are a bad idea. First, again, there's not enough. Let's count all the women. And I want to make it fair to them. I want to count every single woman on both Raw and SmackDown who are not holding championships. So besides two people, I want to count every single woman. And yes, I'll for this benefit, I'm going to count the Bella Twins as well. But this is just a point here. So if you don't count Ronda Rousey or Asuka, there's currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 15 women on Raw if you do not count Ronda Rousey. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. There's only, so this is my point. They don't even have enough, so let's get this straight. They don't even have enough women for a 30-woman Royal Rumble. Because if you don't count Asuka or Ronda Rousey, there's currently 20, and I even counted the Bella Twins on this one. There's currently 25 active women on both Raw and SmackDown. They don't even have enough people for a women's Royal Rumble. So what makes them think that they have enough people to have a tag team division? I get that they want the women to do something. I have no issue with that. But you just don't have enough women to justify. I mean, if you count Nikki Cross and Lacey Evans, that gives to 27. You still don't have enough women for a regular 30-woman Royal Rumble. So what makes you think like you're going to have... It just makes no sense. Like, it just makes no sense. And the second reason why it's a bad idea, because, and I was trying to just explain to everybody else, people don't realize the repercussions of doing this. If you introduce these WWE Women's Tag titles, rest assured, they're going to be split between both brands, because there's no way. Even though I would, if I were going to do it, I would have done it. Like, there are one set of Raw, one set of SmackDown. The issue is there's not enough women to justify even doing that. The issue is, by default, the brand split is over for the women. So what I mean by that is that if you have a set of women's tag team titles, basically the women are allowed to technically go on any brand that they want to, because the women's tag team titles are dual branded. So let me give you an example. Sasha and Bayley. Let's just pretend like they're the first women's tag team champions, right? How exactly are, let's say, the Iconics are able to contend for those titles if they're on the SmackDown brand? Because Sasha and Bayley are on Raw. So, logically, how... Give me 1 second, guys. I apologize for that. All right, sorry about that, guys. I apologize. I sneezed. My bad. But yeah. So let's talk about that for a second. In what universe does it make sense for? So as I was saying, let's just pretend like Sasha and Bailey are the Raw Tag Team Champions, right? I mean, are the Women's Tag Team Champions? How can the Iconics? How can the Iconics contend for those titles? It just doesn't make any sense. It just literally doesn't make any sense. Like, how could they? They're SmackDown women. What lets them contend for that title? You see how it gets to that situation? The only way they can do it, unless the women are just allowed to be on both shows, which effectively ends the brand split for the women, because it doesn't matter. That means someone like Becky Lynch, for example. By that logic, Becky Lynch is allowed to technically compete for the Raw Women's Championship, because it doesn't really matter, because all the women are eligible for the tag team titles, which means they're allowed to jump through either brand, which would also make the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships completely pointless. You see the issue here? And then the third reason, and then I'll get to your questions, Roberto. The third reason why it's a bad idea, because they don't even have enough time to showcase their titles that they already have. Again, raise your hand if you remember the last time the United States title was on the line on a pay-per-view. Anybody? Does anybody remember that? Does anybody remember the last time the United States title was on the line on a pay-per-view? Nobody? No. That's my point. It just, you don't even have enough time to use titles that you already have. What makes you think adding a new title is going to help anything? So, Roberto, you said, why do Sasha Bailey want to win the tag team title? They should be all about the main title. You never saw Batista or Wayne to win the tag title. Well, the reason why is because, again, they want all the women to be doing something. They want to give the women something. Unfortunately, again, because the women have such a less roster than the men, the only titles that they have are the women's title, which is enough in my personal opinion. However, they want all the women to be doing something, I guess. And for people like Sasha and Bailey, the only thing that they could do that actually mean something, unless they introduce tag team titles. So they just want all the women to be doing something. So if you're not in the sync, for example, I'll give an example. Ronda Rousey currently. Everybody who's involved with Ronda Rousey are Natalya and Nia Jackson, to me, that we just saw. The rest of the women, like Dana Brooke, Mickie James, Bailey, Sasha Banks, Alicia Fox, the Riot Squad, what are they doing? Nothing. They just want to give them something to do. Sometimes it's not about that. You just got to wait your turn. On the SmackDown side, people involved with Asuka, Charlotte, and Becky. Everybody else, nobody cares. So it's like that's the point. And then Roberto, you said that means that if every title is defended on a pay-per-view with the women's tag team belt, that's 11 main show belts be defended, not including regular matches that aren't fair. And that's another problem. Well, that also, you see, Roberto, that problem also issues with another problem I have, is that why is every pay-per-view dual branded? It makes zero sense. Because I said this from the very beginning earlier this year. If you watched my podcast, while I still do the World Wrestling Podcast earlier back in the year, I was doing a different podcast called This Week in Wrestling. I talked about this, and I said, and I quote, these dual branded pay-per-views makes no sense. Sure, you can have your made for SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania as dual branded, but when you do something like this, where every pay-per-view is dual branded, again, when was the last time United States title appeared on the show? But it's not about championship. Again, regular matches take a backseat. I'll give you a perfect example. That Jeff Hardy and Samoa Joe feud that's currently happening on SmackDown Live. That could have been a pay-per-view match on a SmackDown show. But because they have to also have the Raw people have some matches on the pay-per-view, SmackDown gets shot with less matches. So again, that Samoa Joe Jeff Hardy feud that's currently going on, that could have been a pay-per-view feud. But because of whatever, that's why. But because it's dual branded, that's not the case. So like you see like the issues like sub feuds that you think should be on pay. Like again, I would pay to see a Samoa Joe versus Jeff Hardy match on pay-per-view, but because again it's dual branded, you're not gonna get that. They can only get to showcase the best matches from each brand, which you see the problem. Again, brand exclusive pay-per-views were probably the best thing that they've done in years, because with that you have people like Naomi And who else? Zack Ryder, Ty Dillinger, people that you will never, Breezango, people that you will never see in the light of day. The Ascension on pay-per-view at all up until that point. Finally got on pay-per-view because the shows were split and everybody had enough time to do whatever. When was the last, let you guys give you an example. When was the last time Naomi was on pay-per-view other than Survivor Series? When she was forced there just by convenience because they needed women for the women's team. When was the last time Naomi was actually on a pay-per-view? Maybe one time. With the exception of the Royal Rumble and Survivor Series, Naomi hasn't been featured on the Money in the Bank. So there's 3 of how many pay-per-views that has been? Let's count how many pay-per-views it's been. Let's do that for a second. This past year. We're about to count how many pay-per-views it's been. And out of all of them, when was the last time Naomi, out of all the pay-per-views this year, how many Naomi was on? And you'll see my point. All right. Yeah. Okay. So 2018, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There were 15 pay-per-views in 2018. She was only featured in 1 out of the 15 pay-per-views. She's only featured in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. One of them I don't count because that was a kickoff show and they even said it themselves. But I'll give that to them. So Naomi has appeared in only 6 pay-per-views this year. So less than half of the pay-per-views that they were offering, Naomi has only appeared in 6. Naomi liked in SummerSlam 2000. I don't mind you. I don't mind it though. Yeah, no. Was that Naomi? I guess that was Naomi. I always assumed. Okay, but that's my point though. I mean, I was just using Naomi as an example. It's like, again, despite the fact whatever you have an opinion on her, I was just using her as an example. It's just simply before these dual brand pay-per-views, Naomi was on every single pay-per-view. But because let's give it better. I guess I give a better example. Finn Balor. I'll use Finn Balor as a perfect example. Finn Balor is considered one of the top stars of Monday Night Raw, right? This year, because all pay-per-views were dual branded, correct? Right? All pay-per-views were dual branded. How many pay-per-views has Finn Balor appeared in? He appeared in 1, 2, 3, 4. Was he on Backlash? No. 5, 6, 7. Was he even on Crown Jewel? I swear, was he at Crown Jewel? I swear to God he wasn't. I swear he wasn't at Crown Jewel. I would be shocked if he was. If he was, no. Finn Balor has only appeared in 8 pay-per-views. So, again, half of them he only appeared in this year. Samoa Joe, he didn't start appearing in pay-per-views really regularly until when? Was he even in the Elimination Chamber? He wasn't. Okay, he was injured. That's why. He didn't appear at WrestleMania. He appeared at the Greatest Royal Rumble. So that's 1, 2, 3. He skipped through 3 rules. 4, 5, 6. Was he at Crown Jewel? No. Yes, he was. 6, 7. He appeared at 7. So again, all these superstars are appearing in less than half of the pay-per-views, right? It's because, again, they're all dual branded. But when was the last time Zack Ryder was on pay-per-view? I'll tell you when. The last time he was on pay-per-view was when everything was dual brand. The last time Zack Ryder was on pay-per-view was December of 2017. So a whole entire year, Zack Ryder hasn't been on pay-per-view. When was the last time Breezango was on pay-per-view before they got injured? December of 2017. You see the point? When was the last time Mojo Rawley was on pay-per-view? December of 2000. Like, these people that were given an opportunity during the brand split is not existed anymore. When was the last time Randy Orton was on a pay-per-view? Right? Let's think. How many pay-per-views Randy Orton has been in? I guess Randy Orton would be a better example here. Was he in the Royal Rumble? I swear to God, was he? Was he? Was Randy Orton at the Royal Rumble? I swear he wasn't. I could be completely wrong, but I swear to God he wasn't. He must. Yes, he was. He was. I'm tripping. He was. It was. So 1, 2, 3. Was he in the Greatest Royal Rumble? Was he? Was he? I swear he wasn't. I swear he skipped it. I could. No, he was actually. 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skipped. 6, 7, 8, 9. So he appeared in 9. This is Randy Orton, by the way, who usually appears in every single pay-per-view. The Miz. Let's talk about the Miz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was he at Money in the Bank? 6. He skipped Extreme Rules. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so Miz has a better record. But like, actually, let's go have a better idea. We'll just, again, I'm just trying to kill time here till we get 2019. 8, yes, he was in at least 6, or was injured from May to June. Yeah, so superstar. Let's just go through the list of. We'll have a better idea. Actually, perfect example. Andrade Cien, the first person I see. Andrade Cien Almas. Besides the kickoff show, when was the last? He hasn't been on a pay-per-view at all this year. Sanity. That was the point I was getting to. I'm so tired, I forgot my point. The newer superstars that they got called up. When was the last time they were on pay-per-views? The Iconics are the only people that got called up this year that were actually on pay-per-view. And I mean by pay-per-view, I mean only the international ones because of pure convenience, like Super Showdown and Evolution pay-per-view, which is all women's pay-per-view, so obviously she was going to be on there regardless. Andrade Cien Almas is a perfect example. It's just so sad I completely forgot about him, because I think sometimes they forget about him too. Andrade Cien Almas. Besides the Extreme Rules kickoff show, and correct me if I'm wrong, the SummerSlam kicked-off show, when was the last time they were on pay-per-view? When was the last time Sanity was on a pay-per-view besides the kickoff shows? Okay, they were both on kickoff shows. Do you see the problem here? You got wasted to all these people that they called up. When was the last time Ty Dillinger, before he got injured, was on pay-per-view? Ty Dillinger was my boy. Sorry about that. When was the last time the club was on pay-per-view? Besides the kickoff show. Like, that's my point. Now we're getting to the people that I forgot to mention. Again, Sanity. I'm not going to go with the colognes. They're not worth it. Aiden English. In terms of actually wrestling. I was going to Raw side for a second. Was the Altars of, besides Survivor Series, was the Altars of Pain actually on pay-per-view this whole year? No. They were doing absolutely nothing. All these NXT calls that they called up meant absolutely nothing. When was the last time Bobby Roode was on the pay-per-view? This year. Bray Wyatt, even though Matt Hardy got injured, when was the last time he was on a pay-per-view? Who else? Like, see, people get lost in the shuffle because of this. The Revival, when was the last time they were on pay-per-view? Besides the kickoff show at Survivor Series, where everybody was on the show because of just convenience. When was the last time? Well, Kevin Owens is currently injured, so I'm not going to say him. No Way Jose. For God's sakes, I almost forgot about the guy. Did he ever appear on pay-per-view at all? I don't even remember. I already mentioned Zack Ryder, Tyler Breeze, The Ascension. Where before all the pay-per-views became dual branded, they were actually featured on pay-per-view. So it's like, again, they should just, starting after WrestleMania, they should just split up the pay. They have so many people on their rosters that they're doing nothing with. And they're calling 5 more people up. Like, how do you think this is gonna work? Just split the pay-per-views again. I don't see what the issue is. No, the issue is, Wakari, there's just too many pay-per-views. All you do is just you could keep the one pay-per-view a month thing. Let me give you an example. You can keep the whole one pay-per-view a month, right? Let's just go from this year alone, right? We have this year we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We had 15 pay-per-views in a 12-month calendar span. If you don't count the big 4, 30, 12, 11, right? You take out Evolution, 10. You take out Super Showdown, Greatest Royal Rumble, 9, 8. So each brand will have 4 pay-per-views, right? Like, I am saying that right? Each brand can have 4 pay-per-views each. And you can just do it once a month. You can still have your international pay-per-views where they come together, but once a month, everybody. So, like, 1 month, let's just say, I'll give you an example, Elimination Chamber that's coming up. Let's just say that was a Raw pay-per-view, which it was last year. That means SmackDown has a whole nother month to build up to their stories, right? Or is it because the writers are so lazy that they don't like booking long-term storylines anymore? Was that the reason why they stopped doing it? Because, I mean, you had situations where it's like the next SmackDown pay-per-view was until like another 6 weeks. But that's the thing. Like, that's why the Ruthless Aggression era was so good with storytelling, because they had so much time to tell stories. Pay-per-views actually mattered back then because they had so much time to tell stories. Like, it was just ridiculous amount of time they had to do it. But that's the whole point. You're supposed to have as many shows as possible, tell to a story to a paper, just sell that pay-per-view. But they don't do that anymore because they got lazy. I don't know. But if 2019, if WWE wants this to be a new era, just go back to brand exclusive pay-per-views. You'll have so many people that are not used again. John Cena should be on a pay-per-view. If he was a SmackDown superstar, he would be on a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view every single time. He's that good, but the issue is y'all never have time to showcase him because y'all have to deal with the Raw roster. Because they also had to be a part of it. They see this is the problem. Y'all just have so many talent you're not using. Why is Sanity not on pay-per-view, right? Why are the Club Martin isn't there? Why is No Way Jose? The Authors of Pain, the first time Authors of Pain got on pay-per-view was just out of pure convenience because they were the Raw Tag Team Champions. So, again, the issue lies with the simple fact is y'all just have so many superstars, y'all just don't know how to use them because the pay-per-views. And that's the problem. McIntyre was also caught up this year. Why do people always forget? I didn't forget McIntyre. It was just he's in a prominent position. They need to clean house. Paulo. No, the Ascension can stay. I love the Ascension. Yeah, the Colognes can go. Naomi's fine. Naomi's fine, I think. Mojo, yeah, he has to go. The Ascension can stay. Apollo, whatever. Natalya, R-Truth, Goldust needs to retire. Natalya's going to be here for a few more years. R-Truth, we'll see. Goldust needs to go. I'm only mad about Goldust because he blocked me on Twitter for no reason. This can't be it because they still booked AJ. That can't be it because they still booked AJ versus Mojo for like 4 months. No. You see, they used... No, that's exactly the point. They booked AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe for 4 months, right? And how many pay-per-views did that span? That was unnecessary. That's why people didn't care about the feud in the end. The same thing happened with AJ Styles and Nakamura. They used the pay-per-views as crutches to not tell a compelling story. They was like, okay, they're just going to continue their feud to the next pay-per-view, so we're going to do any type of story development. I'll give you an example. The SummerSlam feud between AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, right? Up until that point, the feud was going fine. But then what happened after SummerSlam, right? They were just treading water. They was like, okay, the feud's going to carry on to Hell in a Cell. Okay, that one thing with Samoa Joe going into his house. And Super Showdown, okay, it's just going to carry over to there. You see the problem? It wasn't even storytelling. It was just simply because, this happened in the match. So guess what? The next pay-per-view, this is like, it wasn't really storytelling. They were just using the pay-per-views just simply as crutches for not telling the story. And it's officially 12 o'clock. Happy New Year's, everyone. We all made it to 2019. Hope nobody's dead. So kudos to that. Yeah, Ziggler versus Rollins and Friends has been a rivalry since July. But you see my point? They were using the pay-per-views as crutches. Back in the day, they only needed one pay-per-view. Because they had like 8 episodes of Raw to tell a story, and then they blew it off of that one pay-per-view, make it feel special. But now you have like rematch after rematch just out of pure convenience. I'll give you the perfect example. The AJ Styles Shinsuke Nakamura. What exactly happened in that rivalry? For a rivalry that spanned how many months? That spanned 1, 2, 3. It spanned 4 pay-per-views. So from April to June, right? For 2 months. 3 months, essentially, they were feuding, right? What exactly happened in that rivalry that they were doing for 4 months? I mean, 3 months, basically. Nothing. They were treading water. It was just simply, oh, he'll get a rematch because the situation that happened last time, this pay-per-view, they're going to get a rematch. So we're going to have an extra 8 weeks of storytelling, of non-existent storytelling, because the storyteller itself is just that he gets... I apologize, God. I think I'm about to just call it. Hold on. I apologize, guys. I got some water now. It's like I'm in the Midwest. It's not 2019 yet, Roberto. Yeah, but, well, it's over here. So, happy 2019 to everyone. We all made it. But, yeah, but that's my point, though. My whole point is, what they're doing with these pay-per-views, they're using the pay-per-views as just crutches to expand the story that they can't, because they don't know how to tell a story on regular TV. Like getting the whole AJ Styles Nakamura feud. What happened in that feud, if you remember? At WrestleMania, AJ beat Nakamura. Nakamura turned heel. He low-blowed him. Okay, Nakamura, for some reason, got a rematch at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Greatest Royal Rumble happened. They both got counted out, right? By default, that feud continued to Backlash, but they both got disqualified. I mean, they both couldn't get. They both again got counted to the 10 because they couldn't get up to the match. Got extended to the Money in the Bank. There was no actual storytelling. It was just simply because of a situation to have the pay-per-view. They expanded again. They don't know how to tell long-term stories here. And they actually would tell a good story. That pay-per-view, that feud could have ended Backlash. They didn't have to go to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. They could have ended at Backlash. They told the right story. But they just don't know how to. Same thing with AJ Styles and Mojo. The first few weeks of that story was perfectly fine. Then what happened? Oh, Samoa Joe won via disqualification, so by default, he has to get his shot at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. At the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, Samoa Joe made AJ Styles tap out, so by default, he gets another shot at Super Showdown. Like, it's like, do you see the point here? They're not telling long-term stories here. It's just simply because of a situation that happened, he gets another shot. Same thing with Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler. Drew McIntyre got involved, so obviously Seth Rollins gets another rematch. Like, that's, it's just situations that happen. They don't know how to actually tell a compelling story. That if they knew how to tell a story, it only really takes one pay-per-view. But they use the pay-per-views as their storytellers. Okay, so this happened in this pay-per-view, so by automatically, regardless of what we're gonna do for the next 3 weeks of build, the match is still happening. So like, that's the story. Regardless, we don't have to do nothing for 3 weeks, but that pay-per-view, that match still happening. Like, it's like you kind of see my point there, where that's basically what they're using these pay-per-views for now on. I feel as though they'll be much more creative if it's dual. I mean, if it's brand exclusive again, because now they're forced to tell long-term stories. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Anybody remember that Dolph Ziggler Miz feud for when Smackdown, when the brand split got reintroduced? That storyline was amazing. It only took 2 pay-per-views, but they told a compelling story. Not just through the storytelling was through Smackdown, not the pay-per-views. The best moments happened in my not so Happy New Year. My not so interesting life. Happy New Year to you too, man. They told a compelling story through the Smackdown shows, not just the pay-per-views. The pay-per-views were just the blow-off, the payoffs, I guess I should say. But they told the stories through the Smackdown shows. That's the point. They just don't do that anymore, but that's just my personal opinion. I think I'm about to call it quits, guys. I want to make sure I'm okay. I apologize for that disruption earlier. I don't know what happened to me. I am catching a cold, but I do apologize for that. But I want to give a special shout out to the following people: Grim the Vampire King, My Not So Interesting Life, Mario is the Boss, Herberto. I think you're the first time I've ever seen you on this chat, Herberto. So if you're a fan of my wrestling podcast, be sure to subscribe, because I'll be doing one tomorrow and on Wednesday. So you'll look forward to that. But besides that, guys, this is Creator. This is the Raw Wrestling Podcast signing off, and catch you guys tomorrow for Smackdown.